62nd edition of the Paris-Nice, one of the traditional classics on the European calendar. And there's the Eiffel Tower. First stage, a time trial in the southwest corner of Paris. And the first effort from the cyclist, 13.2 kilometres. Here's Jose Azevedo from the US Postal Team. Portuguese rider, of course. Lance Armstrong not here. His long-term aim to win a record 6th Tour de France later in the season. There's Alberto Contador from Liberté Seguros, and he looks like he'll be the early pace setter. Zandio set a 17 minutes 53 second time, and he's gone well under that, 17:32.89 for the Spaniard. Bobby Illich in the very strong CSC team. And the American stops the clock at 17:35.35, so he's currently in second place in this time trial. Davide Rebellion from the Daryl Steiner team. Of course, this is on the fringe of Paris. And overcast conditions for the opening stage of the 62nd Paris-Nice Classic. Davide Rebellion, he's won 11 races, 32 years of age, and he's going very well in this opening stage. He'll certainly be the quickest rider in the time trial, 17:23.84, so he's on under the time of Contador. There's the form of the veteran. Davide Rebellion. He's got a cult-like following from the Italian fans. And here's another experienced campaigner, the Swiss rider Alex Zülle. Time to beat 17:23.84. And Zülle goes just outside 17:30, 17:33 flat. Average speed of 45.13 kilometres per hour. And there's the rainbow jersey signifying World Championship victory for David Miller. He was in the road time trial in Hamilton in Canada. He's a journeyman, the Scot, but an outstanding rider at his very best too in Hamilton, when he beat Michael Rogers for the road time trial victory. Of course, he's won the prologue at the Tour de France. And this is the German Jörg Jaxer, the CSC team. And he looks to be going very well. He'll be under the time of Rebellion. And we could be looking at the time trial winner here, Jörg Jaxer. Oh, that's an outstanding time, 17:19 by the German. Quietly spoken, but speaks 5 languages now. And this multinational team, CSC, should be a great force this year, of course, led by Bjarne Riis, formerly Tour de France champion. Here's Eric Decker, veteran rider from the Rabobank team. And that's very quick as well, 17:23.87. So currently in third place. Defending champion of the overall Paris-Nice title, Alexander Vinokurov. Very emotional victory last year after he lost his very close friend Andrei Kovalev in that stage 2 crash. He won't be victorious here, but will play his part later in the tour, that's for sure. Defending champion in 17:45.49. Jörg Jaska is the time trial victor, and as a result claims the yellow jersey as well.
In the winter we worked quite hard on the time trial bike, on the time trial position, and we did a lot of special training. So yeah, I wanted to do good here in Paris-Nice, but I didn't expect to win.
Jörg Jaska has a 4-second break over Davide Rebellion. Eric Decker currently in 3rd place, then a bit of a gap to David Miller. Stage 2 from Chaville to Montargis, 166 kilometres. And it's a reasonably flat stage as well when you compare it to the stages that will bring the riders home to Cannes. And there's the Latvian rider, Ravis Belovics. You can see the plains of France outside of Paris on the road to Montargis. Jörg Jaska in yellow, the CSC rider. Early time gaps appearing in the second stage. There he is. And you can see there's a fair deal of protection for the man in yellow. His teammates surrounding him. And good camaraderie in the peloton in the early stages of stage 2. Belovics, the Latvian, who rides for the Belgium Chocolat Jacques team, is the man who's made the early pace. There he is. Peloton have got him firmly in his sights, in their sights, as that time gap has been reduced. Just a matter of time before the Latvian is reeled in. See how flat this stage is of the Paris-Nice. Wonderful conditions too. Very chilly on the time trial stage. And the peloton just cruising up to the shoulder of the Latvian. And this allows some potential counter-attacks here. That's the former champion Frank van den Broek, the Belgium rider from Fassa Bartoli. Of course, Michael Rogers will be looking for the overall victory in the young rider classification. Number of Australians riding. Alan Davis, who's now based just outside San Sebastian. It's Neil Stevens' country. Brought his young family over and is toiling away in the professional ranks in Europe. Of course, Robbie McEwen also in this field. But early stages of the season for many of these riders. It'll be scheduled, will include the Olympic Games, the World Championships, and of course for many the Tour de France as well. Well, there's a bit of a mix-up out in front, and Jörg Jaska, the man in yellow, is there. Frank van den Broek on his wheel, and he wins that sprint. There's a number of interim sprint and time bonuses as Van den Broek is urging his teammates to cover a potential attack out in front. You can see the CSC team looking to protect their race leader. Stage brings in some wonderful countryside. As the leading bunch is brought together, and Jörg Jaxa takes on some sustenance. A minute 25 to the pursuing bunch. So the race leader is not taking any chances. He's certainly being assisted ably by his teammates, looking to keep the German out of trouble. But this is absolutely perfect as far as conditions go. 5 kilometres before the end, and we should see some stirring attacks, you would think. And this is a very, very good attack by Pedro Horillo from the Quick Step team. He's driving to the finish, and he looks to have timed his surge to perfection. Oh, this is a brilliant move. The pursuers have no chance now, and the Spaniard will get a very, very valuable victory for his career. Great go for second place. Perhaps Bert Zeberg from Switzerland. The Gerolsteiner team. And Michele Bartoli, the Italian from the CSC team, was there for third, but that was a very well-timed surge by the Spaniard, claiming stage 2 of the Paris-Nice. But the important thing for the race leader is that his integrity and the yellow jersey has been protected. One of the more tamer stages of the Paris-Nice as the Gerolsteiner team and the Quick Step team celebrate the 1-2 with Pedro Horillo, the victor, in 3:47.55. Jörg Jaxa stays in yellow following his victory on day 1 of the time trial. And there's the margin, 6 seconds to Rebellion. Bobby Jelic in third. Vanderbroek, a former champion from Belgium, 22 seconds back with Jens Voigt. Stage 3, the longest day of racing in the Paris-Nice. It will take the peloton 229 kilometres from the tiny town of La Chapelle-Saint-Ouen to Roanne. There's 2 bonus sprints. That'll help stir up the field in the first half of the stage. And then a couple of climbs before the long plunge into Roanne. And already there's been an early attack in stage 3. Leon Van Bon, the Lotto Domo rider, has attacked with Thomas Ziegler from the Gerolsteiner team. And this hasn't caused too much concern in the peloton. Thomas Ziegler, relatively inexperienced when you compare him to Van Bon, who's been around a long, long time. 2 stage wins of the Tour de France in his curriculum. Had a number of problems last year with sinusitis, and that's been overcome. Of course, he turned pro in 1994. And third he was in the road race in 1997 at the World Championships. 9:20 the time gap back to the peloton. And at the moment, it is a sizable break. Recent snowfall has made conditions very chilly for the riders. First of the substantial climbs in the Paris-Nice, this third stage. And this is a very, very useful attack by Thomas Ziegler and Leon Van Bon as they climb through the mountains on their way to Roanne. the final climb about 15 kilometres before the finish that may sort the two out in front. There is Jörg Jaska in yellow. All he needs to do is protect that margin back to Davide Rebellion. And with the peloton 3 minutes 50 behind those leading two, it's going to make for a very interesting finish into Roanne. Slippery conditions on the road too. Well, it'll be interesting if they do pinch a break into the city of Roanne. What the tactics will be from Van Bon. Thomas Ziegler largely unknown in this situation. And now that time gap back under 3 minutes to the peloton. A wonderful sight of the snow-capped peaks outside of Roanne in this stage 3. It's a wonderfully picturesque race, the Paris-Nice, and that margin out to 3 minutes now. So it dipped under the 3 minute mark and it's been pulled out to 3 minutes 15 by both Van Bon and Ziegler. The time gap for being displayed on the chalkboard by one of the officials. And our helicopter shots above giving us a great sight of this third stage. Of course, the Quick Step team includes young Michael Rogers, the Australian Cyclist of the Year. 2 minutes 20 now, that gap. So slowly and surely the leading two are being reeled in. 25 kilometres for the peloton to the finish. And these two are certainly have a victory in their sights. The peloton now charging them down, but there was a lack of organisation a couple of kilometres ago, which meant that Van Bon and Ziegler had a chance to pull away. Certainly not increasing their margin. But if this tempo is maintained, it will be a very, very tight go to the finish. 60-second gap now between Van Bon and Ziegler. Back to the peloton. And the Quick Step team looking to launch Tom Boonen, their special sprinter, into the fray. Robert Hunter's also there. Jens Voigt from CSC. And now the cat and mouse tactics start out. Van Bon at second wheel as Ziegler leads out, and that may have been the fatal mistake because Van Bon, they're very tired after the end of 225 kilometres. But Van Bon, I think, will hang on. Ziegler coming again on the outside. Van Bon lunges and he wins. Oh, that's a courageous victory and a courageous effort by both Ziegler and Van Bon. And now the interest for third place. We've got Hunter, Jens Voigt, Kim Kirchen there for Fassa Bartoli, but in the middle, Tom Boonen, a Quick Step sprinter, takes third place in what was a very exciting stage 3 of the Paris-Nice. And all accolades to the winner, Leon Van Bon, former stage winner of the Tour de France, claims the stage of the Paris-Nice.
The end was difficult, no?
Yeah, especially when the snow was on the side, it was very cold, and in the downhill was a little bit slippery, but it was good.
La médaille de la victoire, le trophée, donc des mains de Monsieur Philippe Delmore, président directeur général de Phonak France, et les bravos du public de Roanne. Voilà, vainqueur.
32-year-old Leon Van Bon is victorious in stage 3, but Jörg Jaxa maintains the yellow jersey, and that margin, well, stays really well, pretty much the same. Rebellion in second place and Bobby Jurlic in third. Stage 4 from Ville de Ryan all the way to Le Puy-en-Velay. And a relaxed atmosphere in the peloton to start the stage. There's Bobby Jurlic, the American rider for the CSC team. And snow beginning to fall in the riders' faces, and that's very, very disconcerting. And very dangerous as well. The peloton stopped. The cameras are clicking. The race officials are talking to the cyclists, and I think we may have an abandonment in this stage. Very dangerous on a couple of sharp descents, and I think that's what the race officials and the team officials are trying to relay to the riders. Someone's going home from the Gerald Steiner team, and the bike's being loaded, and the stage is officially abandoned for obvious reasons, and quite surprising really this time of the year. Race officials explaining the reasons for the abandonment to the FDJ team. Of course, that team which includes Australian Brad McGee, who's not riding in this race. Well, a day off for riders, officials, and also team support. Merci. So he's obviously pretty happy. And there's the Spanish Euskaltel team in the all orange. And the riders have an early minute, can relax back at the team hotel. So Jorg Jaksa maintains a 6-second break over Rebellion, and Bobby Jurlic in third place. Well, a stark contrast for stage 5 from La Puy-en-Velay to Rasteau, 215 kilometres, and it starts off in bright sunshine. 3 climbs are on the menu, and the small Côte de Boisson summit lies just 13 kilometres from the finish, and that often provides the springboard for the stage winner of this 5th stage. 215 kilometres per hour as they leave Le Puy-en-Velay. Wonderful sight from the helicopter. And there's been a number of mini attacks that have been covered pretty successfully. Not too much concerned in the main peloton at the moment, but I'm sure, given the topography of this particular stage, there will be attacks. And we see Beato Assa, the Banesto rider, who's a specialist climber, as part of a group attacking of 3. Unai Echevarria, also the other rider with Darius Baranowski from Liberté Segueras. Now, the time bonuses are all important for the sprint sections of many of the stages here. It's going to be very tight. You can see the gap Jorg Jaksa has over Davide Rebellion, 6 seconds before this particular stage started. So the time bonuses may prove to be very, very useful. There's Echevarria in the orange on the left. And the CSC team certainly organising themselves well at the front of the peloton. You can see a line of them protecting their man in yellow, sandwiched between them. Jens Voigt, part of the bodyguards, if you like, of the race leader, Jörg Jaxa. They are a very, very multinational and multi-talented team of CSC. Of course, headed by Bjarne Riise, former Tour de France champion. And he's been responsible for many of the riders switching teams. Bobby Jelic was saying that it's a great feeling in the team as we have one of the sprints coming up. And Jaxa in the fray as well. But, it was Rebellion from the Gerald Steiner team, just edging out the man in green, Jens Voigt. Jörg Jaxa was there as well. So 29 seconds the gap now. And there's been not a moment of panic in the body language of Jörg Jaxa. He's had ample support around him. There is the defending champion Alexander Vinokurov, just dropping off the back there. But he's a former champion here twice. And 1 kilometre to the summit. Jörg Jaxa trying to go with Vinokurov. 207 kilometres covered. And Vinokurov stirring them out in front. You can see here a very, very significant attack by the man from Kazakhstan, second at the Sydney Olympics. And 30 years of age, he's just coming in to the peak of his career. Finished third in the Tour de France 2003, won a stage 9, and Alexander Vinokurov has got a stage victory very much in his sights here. Rasto a few kilometres away, and the chasing bunch is not quite organised enough. It includes Jörg Jaxa, and his teammates just content for the moment to protect the race lead. They don't want the gap to get too far away. Vinokurov has said that his main focus this year is for the Olympic Games and the World Championships and the Tour de France. So in years gone by, he has been up for events like the Paris-Nice, as was the case last year, but whether it's mind games or whether it's reality, he's saying that he's no chance for the overall win. But he certainly is a big chance for the stage victory, and he's got it in his sights. Another one for his mate Andrei Kivilev, who was lost tragically in a crash last year. And Vinokurov wins stage 5 of the Paris-Nice. A very tight go for second and third. Jörg Jaxa was there, and he claims second spot just ahead of Michele Bartoli, his teammate from CSC. But the stage victory to the diminutive man from Kazakhstan, Alexander Vinokurov.
Normalement c'est demain, 12 mars, qui est un an, comme il est disparu, mais je voulais gagner demain. Mais bon, aujourd'hui j'ai eu bonne occasion et je dis bon, je vais donner tout pour gagner cette victoire et son mémoire. Et voilà, je suis réussi, même si c'était très dur pour moi, parce que bon, je ne suis pas encore à mon meilleure forme, mais bon, je suis réussi, je suis content pour moi et pour lui-même.
So victory in the stage to Vinokurov, but Jörg Jaxa extends his lead to 10 seconds in the general classifications, ahead of Rebellion and Bobby Jelic in third. Stage 6 from Rasto to Gap, 173.5 kilometres. Starting off in nice conditions for the riders. And there's some significant climbs as they weave their way through the vineyards in this section of France that's so picturesque. And there's a couple of men that are on the early attack. Nicolas Portal, the young Frenchman from the AG2R team, and Heitor Ossa, the Banesto rider, is looking for that polka dot jersey. He's got a lot more experience than Portal. Double dose of climbs to end the day to Rasteau for this stage 6 of the Paris-Nice. And there's a long descent into the town of Gap. So the back-to-back climbs as one of the quick step riders is forced from the road. And that was a moment of concentration. He's just lost his momentum. And it looks like Ossa has dropped his partner in crime, Nicolas Portal. And the Spaniard is doing all the work out in front. Well, he's a specialist climber, Heitor Ossa. Riding for the Baleares Banesto team. And 2 minutes 33, the gap back to the peloton. The peloton for the moment not too keen to charge down the race leader, or the stage leader at least, Heitor Ossa. The race leader is back in the main peloton. That is Jörg Jaxa. So the counter-attacks just beginning to emerge, but not too organised, must be said. Inigo Landaluce, the Escatel rider in the orange. Contender, the Liberty Seguros rider, is also there with Denis Menchov, who's the Banesto teammate of the stage leader at the moment, Ossa. Heitor Ossa being urged on in a very, very strong Spanish team. And the team includes Denis Menchov, the Russian, Daniel Becker, who's had good success on the track as well, Vladimir Karpets, and then Lastris, Ossa, Reins and Zandio, as well as Radoschler, the German. So it is a very, very strong team, the Banesto team, led by Menchov, who was 11th in the general classifications of the Tour de France in 2003. But at the moment, it's Ossa making the pace out in front. The question is, can the chasing trio charge him down? Landaluce is in the orange of the Escatel team. You've got Denis Menchov in the white jersey of the Ilias Baleares Banesto team, and then Contender in this Liberty Seguros colours as well. And then the main bunch, who are lacking a little bit of intensity. There in yellow was Jörg Jaxa, the race leader. And Ossa being reeled in now, so it's going to be a very interesting fight to the finish in this stage. Stage 6 from Rasteau to Gap. And this was the same area where Josebo Beloki crashed out of the 2003 Tour de France. So they're getting organised in the sprint to the finish. And they do a little loop around the town of Gap. So a number of little climbs to make things difficult to close out this stage. And there's Samuel Sanchez, rider number 71 from the Euskaltel team. Dave Brulants, the Belgium, also there, as well as Floyd Landis, who's in the US Postal colours. So this may be a significant move. There's Brulants, who rides for the Chocolat Jacques team, the Belgium-based team. Floyd Landis at third wheel for the moment in the US Postal colours, the former mountain bike star in the United States. And you won't miss Samuel Sanchez, Spaniard, in the all orange. And the chasing bunch not quite getting their act together for the moment. Pretty rugged countryside outside the town of Gap. So the riders look to complete the sixth stage of the Paris-Nice. Recent snow has fallen in this part of France. Now Denis Menchov has bridged the gap and joined the leading trio, and back just ahead of the main bunch is Jörg Jaxa, the race leader in yellow. So at this stage it's going to be a stirring finish to the city of Gap. And Dave Brulants trying to bridge the gap on the leading trio in the Chocolat Jacques team. Very technical stage, a lot of twists and turns, and 15-second the gap, as there's a little bit of a concern for one of the Euskaltel team who's crashed, and another rider down as well. So the sharp descent into the city of Gap, and we have Sanchez in the orange with the head down, trying to pinch that brake. Brulants at second wheel. And there's Floyd Landis in the US Postal colours, and Denis Menchov, the Russian, who's very, very good in the sprint finish. And that leading bunch now within shooting distance of the quartet out in front. But they may have pinched a winning break as far as the 1, 2, 3 is concerned. And Brulants leads out in the maroon. Here's Menchov pulling out to make the challenge, and further out is Sanchez in the orange. And it's Denis Menchov, the Russian, in the middle. And he last to win from Sanchez. And in third place was Floyd Landis, the US Postal rider, then Brulants, and a very good go back in the chasing bunch. In sixth place is Frank Vanderbroek, but that was a well-timed sprint by the Russian, Denis Menchov. Sanchez did a lot of the work leading into the city of Gap, but could not withstand the late burst of the veteran Russian. But Jörg Jaxa remains in yellow and extends his lead to 14 seconds over Davide Rebellion, and Bobby Julich just dropping off somewhat in third place, 42 seconds behind the race leader. Stage 7, 185.5 kilometres from Digne-les-Bains to Cannes in the French Riviera. So it should bring in the most rugged of the French countryside, and the most picturesque as well, as they close towards the beaches of Cannes. And one of the leading trio, Inigo Landaluce from the Euskaltel team. And important to note that Michael Rogers the Australian who rides for Quick Step, current Australian Cyclist of the Year, and had that magnificent run last year with the Tour of Belgium, Tour of Germany and the Route du Sud. He leads the division of young riders in the race towards Cannes, and currently in the top 10 as well in the general classification. Stirring it out in front is also Eric Decker from the Rabobank team and David Moncute from Cofidis. Looking around, not too concerned as the peloton is quickly reeling them in. So certainly a Clayton's attack, and you can see the CSC riders organising themselves at the front of the peloton with the race leader Jorg Jaxa in yellow. And the whole idea late in a multi-stage event is to protect the lead, and there is Aitor Ossa, the leading climber of the Paris-Nice in the polka dot jersey, and the CSC teammates will be looking to protect that lead of their main man Jorg Jaxa. There's Alexander Vinokurov out of the seat and looking to attack. He's a wonderful attacking cyclist, the 30-year-old from Kazakhstan. Turned pro in 1998. Of course, in his career, he's done a lot of work for the main Team Telecom sprinter Eric Zabel in the Tour de France. He's certainly an outstanding rider in his own right, Alexander Vinokurov. Counter-attack here by Samuel Sanchez, the Spaniard. He's also a very, very useful climber. Crowd support has been quite superb through the 7 stages of the Paris-Nice. Of course, there's a number of other Australians who are figuring in the race. We mentioned Michael Rogers finished 12 in the last stage. But, in the GC is in the top 10 in 8th place. It's a very dangerous move there by Samuel Sanchez. Just losing his bearings somewhat, and almost forcing it was Frank van der Broek into the motorcycle. So 20 kilometres to go. Very, very interesting. And this could be a penultimate and very important stage as far as Jorg Jaxa's overall aspirations are concerned. Sanchez has gone past van der Broek in that descent. He's got a very good technique on the bike, Samuel Sanchez, and he's opened up a handy break. See gap appearing between van der Broek and the peloton. As they weave their way towards Khan. One of the CSC riders coming to grief there, but at the moment it's Samuel Sanchez who is really sustaining this attack. And Vandenbroek, his run has ended, and it's up to the chasing bunch to organise themselves. And the gap is shortening, and the man to attack is Alexander Vinokurov, defending champion, already with a win under his belt so far in the 2004 Paris-Nice. And as they straddle the coastline of Cannes, Sanchez is very much in the sights of the defending champion. Vinokurov with a well-timed surge, and he's the master of timing, Alexander Vinokurov. So often he's done that domestique work for Eric Zabel in the Tour de France, but it's his stage here into Cannes, and again another victory to complete what's been a successful tour. He won't get the overall general classification victory, but he's notched up another stage win, averaging just a tick under 40 kilometres per hour. And Kim Kirchen, Fassa Bartoli rider, is across for second place. A very good go for third, and it's the big figure of Jens Voigt, I think, in the middle. He's claimed third spot. But Alexander Vinokurov may be coming into the top pinnacle of his career. Father of three, claims another stage victory, but the overall gap is still pretty handy for Jorg Jaxa. 15 seconds over Davide Rebellion, and then Bobby Julich back in third, so no change in the 1, 2, 3. Michael Rogers maintains his 8th place, and he leads the best young rider classification quite clearly ahead of Frank Schleck from Team CSC, the Luxembourg rider, and Alan Davis in 13th place in the young rider classification. In the overall team classification, no surprise to see Team CSC out in front, 1:20 ahead of US Postal, and 7 minutes and 5 back is Quick Step in third place. So quite a dominant performance by Team CSC, and in the second class US Postal, and the next division headed by Quick Step. The last stage, 144 kilometres, a loop into the mountains back towards Nice, and 3 times they'll climb the Col d'Iez and twice the Col to Châteauneuf. So there's in total 5 substantial climbs over the 144 kilometres. And the whole point for the man in yellow is to stay out of trouble. There he is out in front and surrounded by Team CSC. Of course, the stage finishes at the Promenade des Anglais in the city of Nice. You can see the concentration needs to be right there with a number of sweeping descents. And following that stage win, Denis Menchov, the Russian, off the seat, and some early attacking. Alexander Vinokurov trying to close the gap and look for another stage win. Would cap off a remarkable Paris-Nice for the rider from Kazakhstan, who's the defending champion. They won't be letting the Russian Menchov get too far away. Vinokurov's got such an economical technique on the bike. Well, for Jörg Jaxa, all this hard work, he hopes will filter its way to the city of Nice and an overall victory in the Paris-Nice race, but there's still a lot of work to do to maintain that concentration. Denis Menchov at the moment still leading. See the way the riders tuck into that aerodynamic position. Gorka Gonzalez from the Euskaltel team. In the drive to the finish, though, Alexander Vinokurov is aiming for another stage victory. Denis Menchov right on his wheel, but Vinokurov outkicks the Russian and wins, and that is a very, very good victory for Alexander Vinokurov. He may not defend his title, but he's entered the Paris-Nice in great style. Denis Menchov has had a successful tour as well. And Torsten Heichmann from the T-Mobile team, teammate of Vinokurov, in for third. And it looks like now Jörg Jaxa will protect his lead and win the overall title, finishing 26th in the stage, but the stage victory goes to Alexander Vinokurov.
Cette troisième victoire, c'est incroyable aujourd'hui, mais comme je le dis, j'ai retrouvé les jambes chaque jour. Bon, ça a commencé jeudi.
27-year-old Jörg Jaxa celebrates his overall victory in the 62nd Paris-Nice.
It was only 15 seconds, so we had to be really careful and always have an eye on Rebellin. Yeah, but we made it. I'm lucky.
So there's the margin back to Rebellin, and Bobby Jelic takes third place ahead of Jens Voigt, George Kapi. And Davide Rebellin takes the sprinter's green jersey ahead of Jens Voigt. Pretty tight there. Alexander Vinokurov in third place. And the leading climber goes to the Spaniard Aitor Ossa, and a clear victory over Eric Decker and Montcoutet from France in third. Great news for Australia's Michael Rogers, the best young rider in the Paris-Nice. And I hope you've enjoyed all the action over the 8 stages. Until next time, it's bye for now.